And now we have great support from the Spousal Advocacy Committee. These are individuals from across the country that have gathered together, starting with Nancy Goodman in Vancouver Island. And these are a group of people from the general public service who are supportive of this initiative. And I'd like to invite two of them to just say a few words of not only of their support, but also of their situation as well, of how bureaucratic some of the aspects of this bill is, or not this bill, but of the legislation, and what they have to do in order to achieve some form of fairness when it comes to their passing on in the future. So first of all, I'd like to invite Mr. Fred Christie, please.
Thank you, Peter. I represent a group of the Public Service Defense Science Advisory Board, Defense Research Board, that I found that I retired from them prior to being age 60, and afterwards I became very busy, remarried at 62, and simply did not realize that I had a chance to get my new wife on the rolls. The FSNA, pension people, advocacy people told me to do it. Unfortunately, I've moved at the end of 15 months, not the end of a year. Because of that 3 months, I missed out being able to transfer my pension to my second wife if I die first. Again, a bureaucratic rule. I was negligent, but I still think we should have the right to be able to transfer the pension. I shouldn't suffer for my 15 months of not being on the ball. And I'm just one group of a lot of civil servants, and I think that they shouldn't suffer from the regulation. We paid for it. We should be able to use it. Thank you.
And just to correct myself, it's actually the Spousal Pensions Advisory Committee, to be completely frank with you. And now we'd like to invite Mr. Wilfred Cluett to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Wilf Cluett. My situation is a little different. I'm not military. I retired from income tax, but I agree military should be right at the forefront of this thing, and I support that entirely. In my situation, I retired in 1992, prior to reaching age 60, and I had been divorced from my wife at that time, and we had 3 kids who were all doing quite well in the workforce here in Ontario. My wife is a nurse. We subsequently, in about 95, we got back together. We're now living common law. So this is my wife, she was my wife, now we're common law wife, so to speak. And as a nurse, she has had to go back to work at 69 years of age. And the irony to this is that her pension, if she were to predecease me, I would get some of her pension, even as a common law. So where is the justice here? Thank you.
So in conclusion of what we're saying, to bear in mind of what Mary and Helen had said as well, an awful lot of these spouses were raising their children in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where many of them did not hold a job outside of the home their own. And so they could not build up their own pension plans. They could not build up their own aspect of a savings or an income. They were basically at home looking after the children while their sort of income earners were outside earning the money for the family. So what happens now is they're elderly, they're in their retirement ages, and the wage earner eventually passes on, and unfortunately from the superannuation aspect of it, nothing is then able to go to the second spouse in this particular regard. And we find that absolutely something that needs to change in our modern society. The reality is, in conclusion, it does not come from the general tax base. It comes from the superannuation plan, which is extremely healthy right now. And we believe that this money that they have already paid into is also earned by their spouse. And when it comes time that that individual passes on, that the second spouse after 60 should be entitled to have some of that pension in order so they can live out their natural lives in some form of financial security. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for coming today.